For us, it means lawyers, judges, and a fair trial. But in medieval times, justice was a whole different story. Picture this. You live in a small village, and the lord of the manor is everything. There's no appeal, no legal team to argue your case. They were brutal. You might lose a hand. And theft could mean taking a single turnip from the Lord's field because your family was starving. Sometimes, the bodies were even left hanging for days as a constant, terrifying reminder of the Lord's power. Match. Being accused of a crime and having to prove your innocence by carrying a red-hot piece of iron or plunging your arm into boiling water. The logic? God would protect an innocent person, causing their wounds to heal cleanly. If your burns got infected, well, that was proof of your guilt. It was justice by lottery, a terrifying game of chance where your life depended on how your body reacted to severe trauma. There was no formal police force. The community was expected to police itself. If you saw a crime and did raise the hue and cry to alert your neighbors, you could be punished yourself. And for women, there were special, cruel punishments. It was painful, humiliating, and designed to literally silence women. Prisons, as we know them, didn't really exist as a form of punishment. They were just holding cells, often dark, damp dungeons, where you'd wait for your trial or execution. Or thrown into a debtor's prison until your family could scrape together the money to free you. Justice was anything but equal. A peasant who even injured a noble would face torture and a gruesome death. It was a system built not for fairness, but to protect the powerful. Now, let's switch gears and talk about the single most powerful force in medieval life: religion. The Catholic Church wasn't just a spiritual guide, it was a superpower. Its influence was absolute, often holding more authority than kings and queens. Being labeled a heretic for questioning church doctrine was a death sentence, usually by being burned at the stake. Church was mandatory. The entire service was in Latin, a language you couldn't understand. The core message was that life on earth is meant to be full of suffering. Confession was another tool of control. You had to regularly confess all your sins, every little wrongdoing, to the local priest. This gave priests immense power, as they knew the secrets of everyone in the community. And then there were times. This made the church incredibly wealthy. while the common people remained trapped in poverty. Pray to Saint Ra. Lost something? Pray to Saint Anthony. People often seemed more connected to their favorite saints than to God himself. Fragments of a centaur's bone or a piece of cloth they once touched were believed to hold miraculous powers. Churches amassed huge collections, and people would travel for hundreds of miles on dangerous pilgrimages just to see or touch them, hoping for a miracle. Superstition was woven into the fabric of daily life. A black cat crossing your path, breaking a mirror, spilling salt oil were seen as terrible omens. And the fear of witchcraft was very real. If an old woman lived alone, or if the crops failed unexpectedly, the immediate suspect was a witch. Accusations were enough to lead to torture, forced confessions, and execution. People genuinely believed in demons, evil spirits, and possessions. If someone behaved strangely, it was assumed a demon had taken control of their body, and the only cure was an exorcism, which could be a violent and terrifying ordeal. The devil was not a metaphor. He was a real, active presence in the world, constantly tempting people and causing misfortune. And the concepts of heaven and hell were just as literal. Artists depicted hell in horrifying detail, with demons gleefully torturing sinners in pits of fire. This constant fear of eternal damnation was a powerful tool for keeping the population obedient and in line with the Church's teachings, with order plagues, famines, and wars. Many people genuinely believed they were living in the end times, constantly waiting for the apocalypse. So, with all this hardship, what did people actually eat? Let's be honest, medieval cuisine for the average person was incredibly bleak. The diet was built on two things: bread and porridge, day in and day out. Vegetables like cabbage, onions, and peas might supplement the meal, but variety was a luxury few could afford. Bread wasn't the nice, fluffy loaf we'd recognize today. It was dense, dark, and coarse. During times of famine, which were frequent, people would stretch their meager flour supplies by mixing in whatever they could find: sawdust, tree bark, ground-up acorns. This made the bread not only taste awful, but also incredibly difficult to digest. Meat was a rare treat, usually reserved for holidays or special occasions. Most of the protein in their diet came from cheese, eggs, or fish. The rich, of course, ate very differently. Seasoned with exotic spices like cinnamon and cloves that were worth more than their weight in gold. They drank wine, while peasants drank cheap, weak ale, which was often safer than the water. Food wasn't just about survival for the nobility, it was about displaying wealth and status. The stark difference between the peasant's bowl of gruel and the lord's lavish feast perfectly captures the deep, uncrossable divide that defined medieval society. It was a world of extremes, a daily struggle for survival shaped by power, faith, and hunger. Thanks for watching. If you found this glimpse into the past interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into history. See you next time!